and welcome our beloved viewers to RTD's News English Edition. As usual, we'll begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights. Let's follow. Djibouti celebrates World Health Day with the theme Our Planet, Our Health, the Ministry of Health and WHO. And on the international scene, populations called to evacuate the east of Ukraine. Those were our major top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. On the sidelines of the meetings of Arab institutions in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, the Djiboutian delegation composed of the Minister of Economy and Finance, Mr. Ilyas Musa Dawale, and the Minister of Budget, Mr. Isman Ibrahim Roble, the Governor of the Central Bank, Ahmed Usman, met with the CEO of the ITFC, International Trade Finance Corporation, Mr. Hani Sanim Sambol, to discuss ways and means to strengthen their fruitful partnership. ITFC renewed its commitment to support Djibouti through an integrated trade solutions approach in line with the country's National Development Plan Djibouti Vision of 2035. ITFC highlighted its plan to foster inclusive social and economic growth by focusing on key sectors such as energy, health, and private sectors development. ITFC's capacity building initiatives such as the Arab Africa Trade Bridges program will help position Djibouti as a regional trade hub. Also participating was Djibouti's ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. As part of the World Health Day, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble, made a statement this morning in his office. The Minister of Health took this opportunity to express a heartfelt tribute to health professionals who are at the forefront in the various responses to epidemics, and particularly those due to climate change. This year's theme, Our Planet, Our Health, is a timely reminder of the inextricable link between the planet and our health. At a time when the epidemiological burden due to non-communicable and infectious diseases is increasing, as is the incidence of climate-related problems. Still in the news of the country, the Institute of Diplomatic Studies of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation sheltered this morning a ceremony of closing of 2 sessions of trainings. The first training concerned the settlement of conflicts and negotiations, whereas second session was about the diplomacy in developing countries. These 2 trainings were ensured by the Egyptian international expert, Mr. Ashraf Mawafi, who was in charge of the training. The first training session was about conflict resolution and regulations, while the second session was about diplomacy in developing countries. Both training sessions were conducted by the Egyptian international expert and lasted for 6 days. The ceremony also brought together the directors of the Arab world at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation, Mohamed Douali, the director of the Diplomatic Institute, Mohamed Abdul Qadir Musa, who explained in his speech that the interdependence of the world is increasing in cooperation between countries that share the same value of a link of a compelling need or a real craze for national excuse. As we are seeing the handover of the certificates to the participants. The management of RTD organized this morning a ceremony of awarding certificates for the benefit of training for operators technicians of the radio. This ceremony was chaired by the Director General of RTD, Mr. Adan Abdi Jama', and was attended by officials of RTD and operators technicians of the radio who have benefited from this training. The main objective of this training is to strengthen particularly on the console to master the technicality and the demanding capacity to really better exercise in their tasks. For his part, the Director General of RTD, Mr. Adan Abdi Jama', stressed that the Djibouti Broadcasting Television will spare no effort to contribute in strengthening practically on the console of the radio. As we are seeing the handover of the certificates of the personnel of the RTD. In his speech on this occasion, the Director General of the National Radio and Television Corporation, Mr. Aden, expressed on behalf the importance of this training course, which was held for the benefit of radio engineers and technicians. An official ceremony to award certificates to the winners of the 2021-2022 school year of the Adult Literacy Program took place at the Regional Council of Obokh this morning of Wednesday, April 6, 2022. This program, launched for the first time in October 2019 by the UNFD with the assistance of the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, takes place both in the capital and in the 5 regions of the interior and aims to fight against illiteracy among women and girls by enabling them to learn to read, write, and count in French. In Obokh, this literacy program is in which about 190 learners participate in the 3 levels, takes place in the total of 10 training centers, 3 of which are located in the capital of Obokh. A competition was organized in March for about 60 learners of level 3 with the aim of measuring the skills developed by them in French and mathematics after 3 years of training. At the end of this competition, 3 winners were selected. The official presentation of 2 certificates to the 3 best participants concerned took place, including the President of the Regional Council of Obokh, Mr. Mohammed Hamad Ismail, the Deputy of the Prefect, Mr. Mohammed Awad, the Head of the Regional Department of Education, Mr. Hamadou Ali Mohammed. Distribution of dates in the outskirts of the White City in Tajurra. During this month of Ramadan, the General Okar, Mr. Ali Mohammed Gadiri, proceeded to the distribution of dates to the families in need in the locality and near Tajurra. More than 100 households benefited from this rich and favorite foodstuff during this Ramadan period. In the framework of capacity building and improvement of the condition of access to drinking water to the population living in rural areas, the Directorate of Rural Water Supply, with the financial support of UNICEF, has proceeded to the distribution of 90 plastic drums of 200 liters in the village of Norguber in the region of Tajurra. A total of 270 families will benefit from this program of distribution of barrels, which will improve the conditions of storage and hygiene within these rural households. The Directorate of Rural Water, in collaboration with UNICEF, which is a leading partner in WASH, remains more than ever committed to the side of our people in improving their living conditions in terms of water, hygiene, and sanitation. A young man left in the prime of his life. The late Muhammad Hamad Dini, known by his nickname, died yesterday in Tajurra after a brief illness. The late Muhammad was an inestimable personality, very generous, that all those who are by the seaside in Tajurra have known. A familiar figure to all of Tajurra, the late Muhammad leaves a large family, a personality who will leave a great void among his generation. Sharing the pain of the family of the late Muhammad Hamadini, we offer our sincere condolence to all his family and friends and pray to God to welcome him into his eternal paradise. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, after the withdrawal of Russian troops near Kyiv, the Donbass is now the criminals' priority target. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is calling on the population to evacuate the east of the country. After 6 weeks of war, the bombing, destruction of property, and killing of civilians continues in Ukraine, as in the village of Adikriv, north of Kyiv, which also bears the scars of the violence of the fighting, and where new victims laying on the ground were discovered. Well, by this, our beloved viewers, we conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a great day, and thank you once again for joining us. Take care.